What is the most disrespectful shit someone has done to you? Was working at a Dairy Queen when I was 16. It was a hot summer day and a lady came in and dumped her melted blizzard upside down on my hand. In the process it covered my register, the wall and the floor. She started yelling about how her ice cream melted and how I need to make her a new one. She was served in the drive-thru. I was working the front counter inside. My coworker said she left over 20 minutes ago. I still had to make her a new one and give her a refund. That's akin to spitting on someone, which is considered assault, not to mention vandalism of the register. A good manager would have had your back and barred her from returning. Edit. Battery. Till. Anyway, I wasn't suggesting legal action, just that the manager could have stepped up. Good managers are rare in retail. It was a first day of one of my college courses and we were telling everyone our names. I said mine and the professor said, my husband wanted to name our son that but I didn't want him to get made fun of. Edit. My name is Angus. Captain Rip would be a weird name for a kid. I was making out with a girl sometime after midnight in a bar on night. First time I ever managed to do so with someone I just met at nearly age 24. She pulls away for a second, looks at me and says, "What am I doing? I'm drunk and you're ugly." Edit. Thanks for the compassion, everyone. This statement going through my head was gym fuel for many years afterwards. And she actually didn't want to stop making out with me. And being drunk myself with minimal self-esteem, I figured the best revenge was to get her to continue kissing an ugly dude. Joke's on her. You were the best looking guy she had kissed all year. My abusive first girlfriend said to me, "I'm glad for your mama because she doesn't have to be around you anymore." Literally the same night I confided in her that my mom ran out on me and I hadn't seen or heard from my mom in years. That's fucking vile. I'm so sorry that happened to you. It wasn't your fault at all. A kid at school when I was younger who put out his cigarette out on my face. Still got the burn scar. Edit. A lot of people been asking about the repercussions and suing him for damages. I was really young back then, around 14, and the rules around bullying wasn't set to stone. They left it off as kids being kids even though I had serious burn marks on my face. We filed a complaint, went to the police and sued Hi Monsieur. In the end the lawsuit returned us with something minor. 'Cause he was too young. So he did get some tasks he needed to fulfill by justice. It wasn't enough for me. Hope that clears the questions people had. Does the scar at least make you look like a badass? Hashtag IAMMYSCARS. Illidan. Former boss owed me some back pay for a legit reason. My wife went into hospital for a month because of a complicated pregnancy. Baby was C-section and then had to be in ICU. The day of the C-section, boss said he wasn't going to pay me anything. Edit. For all those asking. Yes, of course I put in a complaint with the Ontario Ministry of Labour. Unfortunately, if an employer doesn't pay even after an order, it's put to collections. If the person is shitty enough like this dude was, they just dodge those collections too. I'm sure it'll catch up with him eventually. But at this point he's been run out of his home city. I would be furious. Did you stay there? Edit. Let me rephrase my question. How long did it take you to leave? Former boss. But holy fuck, that's messed up. Locked my new bike up outside a supermarket and ducked inside to get some yogurt because it was Friday night and that's how I de-stress after a long week. Self-checkout line was busier than expected but I was in and out in about 10 to 15 minutes. Didn't want to leave it for too long because someone had pinched the seat from outside my house. Couple of weeks earlier, from a short distance I could see my bike was facing the opposite way I'd left it and felt a little confused. I got closer and saw my U-lock looking like a pretzel. It seemed like someone had tried to wrench off my lock, failed and then just picked up my bike and tried to use it as leverage to pop the thing off. Failed again, but succeeded in completely fucking the entire aluminium frame. Total write-off. Could not be fixed. Someone once stole only my bike seat. Fucking pricks. Edit. A lot of y'all have some funny-ass comments, but I got it stolen from in my own backyard. It was a vintage cruiser and there was no replacement seat that fits, so my mum made it into a display in the garden. It's been about 2 years and I'm still pissed. And in case you're interested, my first cruiser was stolen days after I got it on Christmas when I was 16. People are dicks. I'm sure others have had it way worse. But when I was about 17, I was assembling a ride-on train track, about 2 feet between rails, for an indoor amusement park when the owner of the company came in. He decided to help me. I don't know why. I didn't ask for help and didn't need help. He helped me put a couple track segments together and decided that was enough work for him, so he got up off the floor and wiped his greasy, dusty hands off on my jeans. With my leg in them, monsieur, I was seriously incensed. With my leg in them, so obvious and yet so much better. After delaying my flight, rerouting it in the middle of my flight, letting us off the plane to stretch our legs, and the immediately canceling my flight, forgetting to call for a bus to shuttle all the passengers to the destination airport for 2 hours. A 2-hour bus ride. And missing my connecting flight, the United Airline employee refused to give me a hotel voucher. It was 3 a.m. and she told me, "I'm sure someone will give you a blanket." Also, after 7 years on Reddit, I finally got my first award. Thank you, kind stranger. That's what you're supposed to say, right? I suppose that was one thing United Airlines was good for. DAAAAMN. What did you do? It was a connecting flight from Chicago to Indiana to visit my parents. I went through security while on the phone with my mom about the situation. I'm sure anyone eavesdropping on that conversation would have had an earful. I ended up getting an Uber to drive me to South Bend in the middle of the night. I got there around 5 a.m. when I was supposed to get there around dinner time. I will never ever fly United again. You couldn't pay me to fly United. For real, not for $1 million. There's not a lot I wouldn't do for $1 million, but flying United is a hard pass for me. It's amazing how much United just doesn't give a fuck about the people who pay them to use their airline. Go to a meeting for work. Coworker says to opposing counsel, "Hey, do you want to meet Gutenberg Bible? He's here," and gestures back at me standing in the hall with a bunch of files. This motherfucker looks me up and down, turns back to my coworker, and says no. Reminds me of a job I had at college at this pie firm, monsieur. There was an attorney there. Let's call him Frank, because his name was Frank. And when I first started, I tried to introduce myself, and Frank cut me off immediately and said, "I don't want to know your name until you've been here at least 6 months," and then just walked off. Fuck you, Frank. I was in 5th grade, 10 or 11 years old. I didn't do homework often, because my teacher was mean, and I didn't want to do anything he asked me to do. But I decided to put in extra effort to finish all my overdue math homework so I could submit it the next day. I finished all the worksheets in one night, stapled them all together, and wrote my name on the top one. I gave them to him. He looked them over, tore off the top one, then ripped the rest of them in half and threw them away. He looked at me and said, "I don't know who those belong to. They didn't have your name on them, monsieur." And then he kept me inside from recess and told me to redo them all. Fucking asshole. I'm still pissed at you. Mr. Prime, did you tell your parents or someone close to you? Nope, didn't know that was an option at the time. My ex didn't allow me to have any female friends and wouldn't even let me say my best friends. Female name in front of her. We broke up because she fell in love with her best friend. Male. Holy shit, are you me? My ex-girlfriend hated any female that even tried talking to me. I had a female friend that helped me through a lot of rough shit my first year of college. She made me delete her number out of my phone. Whenever we'd fight, she would tell me to just date her instead. I was crying my eyes out on a park bench in the city. Me and my abusive ex-boyfriend had a huge fight over the phone, and he essentially told me that I had no friends. I wasn't worth his time. His friends hated me. I can't actually remember what started the argument, but he'd said a lot of incredibly upsetting things to deliberately hurt my feelings. A stranger came up to me crying over the phone, trying to do it quietly and hide it, might I add. The guy looks me straight in the eyes and said, "What a fucking mess," and walked away. Made me feel like complete shit. Edit. Holy shit. I did not expect this to get so popular. Thanks for the upvotes and your kind words. Holy shit, fuck that dude. Are you doing better now? I had someone I considered a close friend send an unprovoked email outing me to the entire staff of the place I worked. Not only that, he took a screenshot of an online dating profile, his proof, and told them to keep their kids away from me. I was a teaching professional at a country club. Oh no. What happened after that? What a terrible, trifling pos. Some people just really do get off on hurting others. I'm a very patient person. A couple years later, I happened to come upon the information that he was cheating with his next door neighbor's wife. Let's just say karma is a real bitch. Then what happened? You can't leave me hanging like that. He ended up marrying the neighbor's wife. Had to sell his house and move out of state due to all his friends and neighbors excommunicating. Hi Monsieur, hope they're so happy together. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.